Monday Night Football, baby. We're here.
There's only one other good play on Minnesota.
Touchdown in 46 seconds. Punches back. Touchdown.
Run Pure Sports back with the UFC 325 VOLKANOVSKI versus LOPES number 2. I am Mike Brown, aka H3 Buddha, here with JSU. John, back-to-back pay-per-view cards. Weird way to start the year, but a good selection of offering out there for DraftKings on the streets of Pick 6, fantasy, betting. We've got it all covered for you guys this week. There's some boosts out there. I see some 30% Pick 6, some 30% on exact methods. What did we do last week? What did we do for the first pick of the year, John? Do you remember? 30% boost. Got it almost to even money. Finished pretty quickly.
First pick of the year. Now, I know we won in spectacular fashion, but I'm blanking on the gentleman's name. What was his name?
You think I remember?
Well, I mean, you teed it off to me, hoping I would remember.
Oh, no, I got it.
I don't even remember what I ate yesterday. Come on.
I know. It's like pretty sad. Let's see. So it was 320, what?
4.
Well, I'm struggling. Like I said, if I pull up Tapology,
literally the first fight on the card, or was it the second fight? I can't remember.
It was the first fight. It was the first thing, and he finished pretty quickly. I'll pull it up, stall it. Get through your spiel, and I'll get that name.
Mike, we got to be better than this.
This is bad.
That's what you're throwing to me as the first go-to. We got to know the guy's name.
I'm picking it. I'm scrolling. I'm getting there. We're
making our way.
What do the kids call it? You gotta like keep chit chatting while I'm looking this thing up. It certainly wasn't Paddy Pimblett. I'll tell you that much. But if a guy looked good in a loss, we talk about this often.
That we can talk about here, because there was somebody on this show who tried to warn all the Paddy, the baddie, where are you right now? Yeah, all the Paddy by sub people. Wait, Paddy by sub, did he get him down? Did he get him down once?
No, active wrestling.
Did he shoot more than one takedown in the entire fight? Was that takedown like desperation in like the third or fourth round too? I believe it was. I tried to tell you guys there are levels to this game. And when you have bad takedowns, your jiu-jitsu can be fucking amazing. Paddy's is amazing. But if you can't get him to the ground, what is it good for? And I will say one thing. Justin, this is my opinion, Mike. You can disagree with me if you want.
No,
I think that was maybe the worst version of Justin that we've seen from a reckless standpoint. I mean, he was just running in there. The pressure was insane. He was just recklessly running it. He was saying, dude, your striking sucks so bad. I don't give a shit. Like, hit me.
He felt nothing coming at him. He said it. He's like, I felt the first few punches, didn't feel anything. I'm going to keep putting that pressure on. The game plan was to cook him, and he did.
Like I told you guys, Paddy throws one strike at a time. One. It's not like those crazy it's not the danger of a Poirier or a Max Holloway when you get into the pocket with him, right? And you're worried about that. Or Elliott, right? The flatlining combination that just puts you out. That's not Paddy. And so Justin knew, if I get this dude backing up, and I don't mess around with him in the scrambles, I'm going to tune this dude up. And that's exactly what he did. He had him in that like front headlock. How many times, Mike?
That was impressive.
That was the one thing, though. I was like, don't you fucking dare try to advance from this headlock position. And he didn't. I think he thought about it a couple times. Like, do I want to?
You could see the hips starting to go. Like,
yeah. And then he was like, no, I'll just hit him a little bit down here. I'll just give him a little pound down here, and then we'll get back up to our feet, and then I'll drop him again. And that's what he did, man. It was really impressive, honestly, from Justin's standpoint. Everyone that's saying like Paddy was impressive too. No, I knew Paddy was tough. I think a lot of people knew he was tough. And I mean, yeah, he showed it. He was resilient. But man, that was all Gaethje. And I thought the worst version of Gaethje, and he still tuned him up. So there's levels to MMA, people, and that right there kind of proves it.
Levels to MMA, levels to the
Did you
betting.
find
Ty
this
Miller.
fucking
Ty
guy?
Miller was the name.
Thank you, Ty Miller. Shout out to Ty Miller, by the way.
Yeah, that boxing was sharp as a tack.
Mm-hmm.
And first one there, beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely a fun card, that last one. But I mean, this card, we go from some good names, right? All right, first card on Paramount. I thought Paramount did a decent job. It kept refreshing on my TV, probably a me thing, but I thought the camera work was good. The multi-view was kind of neat, dude. You got to try that out if you didn't.
So I didn't try it out, but I heard some people who did, and they were like, this is pretty sweet. So
yep.
I'm gonna have to try it out. What does chat think? Did anyone in chat try the multi-view? Because I heard some good things. Should I try the multi-view?
I'm actually
last
wondering.
week's view worked out pretty good for me. I had a pretty good card, so I don't know if I want to.
Bad
second
juju
round. Oh God, no, Redmond. We're not doing the eye poke things. Come on. Come on.
No.
Stop. Gaethje destroyed him, and that was the worst version of him, and he destroyed him. No,
he hurt him in the first, and that stopped anything coming back towards him.
Did you see that knee, by the way, that was flush on the nuts? First of all, that knee by Paddy was sick. It was just that he hit him right in the nuts. If he hit him in like the stomach, though, that knee would have been so nasty because it was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It was definitely like the coolest thing Paddy did all fight was that flying knee or whatever, or jumping knee, whatever you want to call it.
They must go back to back.
In the nuts.
They have to be going back to back pay-per-view cards and one overseas to test out the Paramount stuff. That's what I just thought of, right? They must be like, let's fly these cameras out here, get that Paramount money with the multi-view and such. But what a card we have. Let's just pivot right to this card. I mean, you have the first 3 fights of Road to UFC on a UFC card. This is just like backfilling a card. That's what they do. And these fights are going to be Paramount. Haha, see what I did there, JSU? For the context of the slate for fantasy. And I'm sure that there's just going to be a lot of unknowns. People just aren't going to want to click these guys. I love opportunities where guys are going to come in lower owned than where they should be because there's no confidence. There's no game logs. There's not a lot. People aren't going to want to put a lot of data. They're going to rely on watching people, listening to content, reading content, looking at picks. And I think it really, when I'm looking at this type of situation from a fantasy standpoint, because that's how I typically do, I like lower owned guys, dude. And I think we're going to get it in the first 3 fights of the night.
Well, because people don't know a lot of these guys, and the unknown factor will kind of hold people, I think, away. Well, one thing too, they did call one of the eye pokes, and I totally get what Redmond's saying here. Why does Vegas have replay to not use it then? So even if they used it, and let's say they took a point from Justin, first of all, I don't even know how Paddy won a round. Maybe he won 1 round. But outside of that, like even if you gave him another round for a loss of a point and an eye poke, it still doesn't matter because the outcome's the same. But I agree with the point that you're making. If you have fucking replay and it's questionable, use it. Even if it's like at the end, even if let's say like the ref didn't see it and there's 30 seconds left in the round, why can't they go back, be like, okay, he did poke him in the eye. We didn't give the dude his rest, but that's his second eye poke, so he needs to lose a point. I'd be fine with that even if they went back. If it's like
there's no consistency.
There's just no consistency at all. Either take a point or don't, or just let people just foul, because you're going to get more nut shots when guys are tired, more eye pokes when guys are tired. I mean, it's just.
Do you know what the rule book says? More. The first warning they get is in the locker room before they make the walk.
Yeah, so then why do they get 2 warnings in the cage?
Because they want to be nice, I guess. I mean, it has to come down to the ref wanting to be nice about it, right? Like, try to interfere.
The ref doesn't want to change the outcome of the fight, obviously. That's got to be it, right? Like, they don't want it's like they say referees in the NFL at the end of games, they don't want to throw the PI, throw the flag for like holding or pass interference at the very end, you know, quote unquote, because they don't want to like change the outcome, even though it happens all the time. But sometimes they'll let you grab a little bit more towards, and players know this too, and that's why they do it. But yeah, I mean, that's probably what it is. And I don't like it. I would prefer consistency across the board. You know, honestly, you poke them in the eye, it's a point. Just take the point and move on. You get one warning in the back. If you want to do one warning in the cage, that's fine. But the second offense has got to be a point, and it's just got to be an automatic point, Mike. It can't.
Yeah.
I think they got to get away from, oh, it's at the discretion of the ref or whatever. No. Just make it a universal thing. You get a warning in the back. You get a warning in the cage. That's two. Your third one is a penalty. Your fourth one is a penalty. Your fifth, on and on.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. There should be no tolerance, right? It's the lay of the land. You've had your...
Yeah, maybe he won the fourth round. So maybe he won one round. JSU, what do you think Topuria KO line will be on Gaethje? I mean, dude, Topuria is going to flatline Gaethje.
200,
that'll
250.
happen within a round and a half. I would assume the line's going to be a round and a half, maybe two. It's probably going to be a round and a half for Topuria, and he probably gets. I mean, if Gaethje fights like that, I don't think he will against Topuria, by the way. That would be dumb. But if he did, it's going to happen in like 60 seconds.
Yeah, I understand 100%. Let's kick off the night here. I mean, we could go on and on. You and I could shoot the shit about MMA for probably hours on end.
That's right, except on the Bills. Poor Bills fan over here. My bad, bro. I didn't mean to throw that stray out at you guys. I love Bills fans.
Yeah, like I say, there's a ton of random calls that happen in all sports, but out of all the sports we're playing, one that has so much subjectivity, I don't know sometimes why we play it, to be honest. But I'll tell you why, because there's $200,000 up top for fantasy. I think I would like to get to the promised land, and one of those ways might be in these first three fights that are road to UFC. We have a test for me, okay? Rangbu versus Lawrence Louie. We have Rangbu coming in as the favorite in the fight here. He is on DraftKings Sportsbook, a minus 290. He's gotten some steam over the last 24 hours. He was at about a minus 260 range, so he's gotten a few points added to his side of things. Louie coming back at a plus 235. I didn't get to see a ton of this road to UFC. Obviously, I watched a lot and crammed it in the last 24 hours. There's a lot of spots where you just see money pile in on people, right? They start picking up on things. They start seeing things weigh-ins. Rangbu seems like the better striker. I mean, all around the better guy going in there. Probably when you look at the totals on this fight, we're looking at a 1.5, I believe. Nope, 2.5, and it's under minus 154 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So they do expect a finish. I'm going to be wanting to target those types of spots here on these first three fights, because some of them are actually expected to go to a decision. So Rangbu is priced in that 9K range where it starts getting like you need 105 points out of these guys. I think it's going to be tough for him to get it, but I like that a lot of the prop markets are headed towards his way, JSU.
Yeah, I do think he's the rightful favorite, and I do think he's going to win this fight. The question is for DFS, does he cover the 9K price tag here? And I don't think he's going to. He's a patient guy. He's going to look for his reads and everything like that. He's definitely got the striking advantage. I think Lou would try and want to get this thing to the mat. That's the other thing. Like Rangbu, if he has the striking advantage, he's going to know it. He's going to probably, I don't think he's going to try and go for his own like takedowns or stuff like that. So I think unless Lou is trying to force this to the mat, I think it stays on the feet. And the way he kind of keeps his distance, gets in and out, it's very quick. He's looking for that shot to kind of hurt guys and put them out. But sometimes it takes a little bit. So if this thing extends, which I think this fight does, I think it's more of just you know, I don't know if the volume is going to be there, and we'll talk about some of these other road to UFC fights where we might have better volume, better chances for earlier finishes. I just don't think this is the fight to target for those things. So this is a fight I'm pretty low on altogether. I don't have a ton, or I won't have a ton of either of these two guys. But I think like if you maybe like make a bet or something like that, I could see a round 2 or 3 KO for Saul and Rangbu. The question is, would that get us what we need at 9K, Mike? And I don't know if it will on this card.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if he's going to have the volume either. You look at his previous fights, and again, these are two. The fun thing about the road to UFC guys is we actually get statistical data on them in 2 fights, which is something interesting, right? Because if you were to score his first 2 fights in road to UFC in a 3rd round finish, the last fight out, he probably would have had somewhere in that 1 knockdown, and I'm looking at it now with 54 strikes. So what would that be? 65, 70, 75? Yeah. No control time. So he's lacking in that department. The 1st round knockout, that would have been a monster score in that first one. And then I like to look at, you know, absorption of strikes, right? Like Lou is actually absorbing more strikes, 3 per minute. He's putting out 4. In the same type of situation, we have these numbers a little bit inflated because they do have 2 wins to get onto the finals, right? But when it stays on the feet, I think it's going to be good. I think there's a couple fights on this slate. I wonder if you agree with me that you have the 2 grapplers that could negate and kickbox, which sucks for fantasy breakdowns. And then I think you have a bunch of guys that if they get taken down in the first, they will probably win the 2nd and 3rd because the fighter gasses out that's taking them down. And then there's not a lot to be had on the scoring because the takedown is stalling out that ceiling. Do you see a few? Like I see a few spots on this slate that could potentially happen, and I'm concerned about this being one of them if Lou does get the grappling.
Yeah, well, even if he did get it like early and stuff, I don't think he's going to be able to get it throughout the fight, and that's the problem. So that's one way the fight stalls out. I think Saul and Rangbu just being patient and waiting for kind of the knockout to come to him, which I'm sure is going to be like what his corner says, like you don't need to rush in, take your time. He's going to, you know, at some point have to come in and, you know, you'll be able to find your shots and stuff like that. So yeah, again, not a fight. I'm going to like some of these roads to the UFC fights. This though is definitely the fight I'm lowest on of the 3 that we have. So
Saul and Rangbu being 20% owned on my projections. I have Lou coming in at 22, and that does make sense because if you're betting into the unknown and you're trying to make a structure build to get up towards those 9K plus, the guys higher than Saul and Rangbu, you're going to get some Lou in your lineup builds. That's just the way it is and the way it goes. Last week, we had absolutely 0 middle range. This week, we have a beautiful middle range with some nice win equity. My favorite range is the middle range. Last week, I was like, what are we going to do? And what
you were glitching out because we had no middle range. You said it like 6 times during the show. You were like, JSU, where's the middle range? And I'm like, it's fucking non-existent this week.
It's amazing because it's when you're trying to build, you can kind of differentiate just inherently by obviously people are going to have to get Lou right in this type of spot to try to get up towards those higher priced guys. And you happen to say you liked some of the other fights and they're priced right in the middle range. Can we just say we didn't lead into it? What about Tao and the towel? He held on to the thing. Did you see that? He
tried his best. He tried his best. You know, they said if you're not cheating, you're not trying. There you go.
7-pound difference.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was pretty wild right there. They were like, the announcer were like, no way. No, it's going to be crazy if he comes in like a couple pounds overweight. And then they were like, 7-pound difference? They were like, what the fuck?
Oh, he's getting right back up there. Oh, that's interesting.
Mr. Tao, enjoy
He'll get to the UFC, and then we will make a lot of money betting against him. I promise you that. Let's go to the pick 6 side of things. We both somewhat kind of like the knockout, but we rarely put those into our pick 6 side of things. The significant strikes 44.5 for Rangbu. It seems like a decent trap there. I mean, he could get to 35 and the knockout presenting itself. and Lou being 30.5 strikes. Fantasy points for Rangbu is 88.5. I actually like the over there, but I don't think we're both think it's going to be a first round. And I think in order to play that 88.5 over, you need to be pretty sure about a first round. If not, get bailed out with a knockdown or two.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, we don't need to do this fight. I kind of like the unders, so we don't need to do this fight.
Makes a lot of sense here. Let's move on to the next fight of the night, where we see the two, what is this? The featherweight one. The first one was the bantamweight. Now we got the featherweights. Kiruchi Nakamura versus Sebastian Szalay. I think there we go. When we look at the betting odds, man, this is a fight where Nakamura is the bigger guy. When you looked at weigh-ins, this was the one that really kind of I thought, oh, Nakamura is going to be the favorite here. No, Szalay is minus 135. Nakamura a plus 114 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Szalay leaves his hands down. I'm concerned that he gets rocked in this fight somehow. When I'm looking at underdogs on this slate, I want somebody that can get those finished. You know, one of my favorite things is looking at that inside the distance line, right? Well, we have Nakamura in this entire week being a better inside the distance line than Szalay. He's been holding steady at a plus 200, and Szalay is about a plus 230. So that's killing off some ownership right there. Isn't Szalay also from the region as well? That's probably going to guide that money line value towards him as well. When you look at all the things in this fight and ownership wise, I think that it's a middle range kind of hidden, right? Like 20% on Szalay. We have his opponent here coming in at I think about 25% maybe. What do you see in this one? Because again, I think his hands are down. I think the size is really what caught my eye. I don't look at weigh-ins often, but when I see that big disparity, I think Nakamura can kind of wear him down.
Yeah, I really like this fight. From a betting angle, I like the dog in Nakamura, but from a DFS angle, I think it's a good fight to target. You get that middle range, like you were talking about, style fight, and a couple of unknowns to most people, 8,100, 8,100. And I kind of want to get over on both of them, again, with the lean to Nakamura. But Nakamura's style, I think, is going to dictate a lot of how this fight goes. And if you watch Nakamura fight, he's a pressure fighter. He gets in your face. He's going to try and smother you with volume. He threw a shit ton of strikes in that last fight, last time out. A ton. I forget the number exactly, but he was just all over this dude. And he will take a punch to give one. That's the one thing about him. He does come in a little reckless at times. His chin is there. It's almost like he gets so excited at times and he just forgets about his defense, Mike, because he wants to like just lay on the volume. So I think there is opportunity for Szalay to connect and maybe find the chin or something like that and get a win. But he's not really a finisher. 11 fights in his MMA career, and I think only 3 of them he's won by finish, 2 by knockout, 1 by decision. A lot of decisions in there, a lot of decisions for Szalay. But again, I think Nakamura is going to dictate the pace, which means Szalay is going to have opportunity with the amount of pressure that Nakamura is going to put on him to also, score well in DFS. So, both these guys I think are somewhat tough. I think at the end of the day, at these prices, even just the volume decision could get us there too, Mike. So great fight to target for me. Like I said, I'm going to lean a little more on the Nakamura side, but a fight I want both sides of in DFS for sure. And I'll be betting the dog here.
Yeah, I like it when we're on the same side. That last fight, he did throw 215 strikes. I was hoping you'd pop it up mid-conversation there with you going on because he does have a significant amount of volume out there. And I think, that's sometimes what it takes with the judges. It's less about the damage. And sometimes if you're just throwing a strike after strike, it's kind of to your own defense, right? Maybe that's his style of defense is just throw the volume so the guy just stays off of you. So there's a lot it will probably be some good leverage. I don't think people will go here. Do you? Like you said you like both sides. I think ownership wise, people won't go to Szalay.
Yeah, and I think it's, probably the volume concerns, the decisions, all that type of stuff. But we say it all the time, styles make fights, and Nakamura's style is going to make this fight, which means I don't worry as much about those things for Zazlian, or however you say his name. Andy's trying to help us over here, but
there's no
we try
helping
our
us.
best. Yeah, there's no helping us.
It's just that's not possible. But
morning, Mike. What's going on, brother?
morning.
Let's get it.
Yeah. I love my middle range builds. The one thing that happens is when you're building middle range on this card, I wonder if you agree, you're kind of sacrificing getting to the Benoit Saint-Denis. And if they hit their 135 points, these guys aren't going to mean shit. Like, that's the problem.
Ain't going to mean shit unless they put up 100.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think the leverage will come into play more down the card because the salary will be that much more. When we're looking at the prop markets, can we just stack it? Can we stack the overs? That 48.5 is actually a pretty good number when we were looking at that output.
That's a crazy number there.
That's a wild number. And, we both think it might go some rounds. So maybe they just, you get the move fighter. Oh, Mark Smith. ACL blown out in the middle of reffing a fight. How about that? Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Never seen that.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think we uncovered a good one.
This makes me terrified that this thing's going to end early. They're just throwing that number out there for Nakamura. 48.5 is a terribly low line, which tells me that maybe they think there's going to be a finish here because, 48.5, honestly, he could get that in a round and a half the way he was throwing strikes last fight.
Yeah, in a single round, first round here, if they just fight down and they go. And like you said, they're both, they have that tendency to go.
Now I got to look. How many strikes did he have in his last fight? Because I know
88 of 215 thrown.
He threw 215 strikes?
Nakamura did, yes.
Shit. I watched the fight. I knew it was a lot. I just couldn't remember how many exactly, but
did you see the same thing I did on the weigh-ins? He did look super bigger than him. And it's like,
well, he is a big dude. Like he's just naturally, he's got a decent, size and reach in a lot of these fights. He looks it in the cage. He's going to look it here versus Zazlian.
So technically we need 10 minutes, right? If he's throwing 5.22, you get 10 minutes out of him. That's what the stats say.
He's going to have the size and reach advantage too.
Let's pencil it in. It's a strong play. People certainly aren't going to go here. But I do think that the over 48.5 is going to be the play. And for fantasy, you nailed it. I like buying into this particular fight. The last fight I was hoping would have higher ownership. Everyone's going to be 20%, right? They're just going to put it in a hat, shake it around, pull one of the names out. So I also looked at DraftKings Sportsbook, looking at Redman's comment right there. There are no significant strikes offered. I wanted to ladder the shit out of it, dude.
Really? They're not offering it?
I'm on the app right now. I've got takedown lines, no significant strikes. If there's another book out there, start laddering those and do the combined strikes and do Nakamura's. I think that would be a very interesting ladder.
Open it up later today. Come on, DK. Got to get strikes up there.
That would be a real fun one to break down. We move on to the last of the unknowns here. Dumar Fan versus Kim Sang-uk. We have Dumar Fan minus 155 on DraftKings Sportsbook. His comeback on Mr. Ook is a plus 130. Dumar Fan is the guy who's fought Malarkey, right? Was it Malarkey or Sal killed? I forget. Oh, geez. One of the two. But he had success early and then fades late. I think he's a grinder. He's a guy that's want to get in there, grind on you. I don't see a ton of volume. I think there's a finish equity in this fight. When you look at the total, it ends up being a minus 195 on DraftKings for the over 2.5. But I think there's sneaky finish, especially these types of fights, right? Like they have to go out there and make a name to get on into the UFC officially. And the other thing we need to look at, and I just thought of this, these fights are technically 4 rounds, dude. So they're 3 rounds, right? But if there's a draw, if there's somehow a draw, which I don't think there will be, they would go to a 4th round. It happened a few times ago that they did this. I'd have to do a little bit of research, but there was a 4th round. They brought the stools in and everything, and then they restarted for a 4th round because of the draw. So there might be some hidden fantasy upside if there's a cage grab in the point, and then it goes to a 4th round. But Dumar Fan, I think, is the better quality of competition that he's fought. I worry about him down the stretch. When you talked about Solombo getting a knockdown and knockout in the 2nd or 3rd round, I worry about Dumar Fan down the stretch here.
Yeah, Dumar Fan he's gonna force the grappling. Is his game. He's gonna force this thing down on the mat. If you go watch his last fight, I mean, it was just he doesn't look at all comfortable on the feet, and so like the striking, not really there, but on the mat he does have some skills. I will say though, like his defensive grappling was not that great. Like he got his back taken a couple times, and I think it's a lesser fighter than who he's gonna fight next here in Kim. And so like I think, like you said, as he starts to slow down after a round and a half, that's where kind of Kim could take over here. And I wouldn't even be shocked if Kim like found a submission in round 2 or round 3. I think the odds are like plus 650 or something like that. Probably this fight definitely could go to a decision. Kim's really tough. I think Dom is tough as well, but the way he slows down, I could see him getting caught in something later. And like I said, Kim, he looks like a pretty solid fighter to me all around. I think he's got the better striking. My issue is I think they're going to play jujitsu for a lot of this fight. So that's why I lean more the sub area of this fight. And I got Kim here. I got Sangwoo Kim getting the job done here in this fight. So I'm going to be higher in DFS for sure, just because, I mean, the price tags. You look at Dumar Fan, 8,700. Kim sitting at 7,500. I'm on the Kim side. I'm betting the Kim side. And we'll see how it shakes out. But another fight, I think if Kim wins, Kim could score well at 7,500. So I'm going to be high.
I think both of these guys can score well. When you talked about ranking these first 3 fights, this is number 1 for me due to the style of grappling. Like you said, if there's going to be jiu-jitsu involved or trying to hit the mat, for DraftKings purposes solely, I don't think this translates to FanDuel scoring or any other pick 6 types of markets that don't really matter. Strictly scoring basis, you have to be looking at grappling, and it's a guy who can score very quickly a lot of points. My problem is this volume is just horrific. You nailed it, right? Like 2.5 significant strikes, absorbing 1.5. He's mitigating a lot of fantasy on the comeback, but if he does get into a war that 2nd and 3rd round and Kim is stopping the takedowns or getting his own implemented, this thing is going to slide towards him. And I'm seeing ownership on Mar Fan at 10%, Kim being 20%. I don't want to say this. It makes me want to play Fan.
Say it.
It makes me want to. And it's like, I can't bet against you.
Get in there, because my first pick 6 is going to be an under for Dumar Fan. It can either be significant strikes or fantasy points. You pick.
It's got to be significant strikes. 100% significant strikes. Let's just do a little click-a-rooney here. He's done it 39 strikes in that first fight, 29 in the decision when he was getting stalled out. And honestly, that Park was more replicable to this one against Kim, right? Like there's going to be more resistance in that realm. So I think that I agree with you. I like the under 35.5 strikes. Let's just implement the grappling if you're looking at that. And again, that's a trap. The 71.5 is very telling, right? Mm-hmm. That's a representative of why he's only 10% owned on DraftKings. And again, I'm a fantasy-minded person first. And when I get a 10% guy that I believe is inside the distance, isn't horrific. It's not expected, right? For Dumar Fan, it's plus 250. There's no finish. Plus 400. Hey, there's a good price. You always like your outliers. That's a plus 400 for Mr. Oak at DraftKings Sportsbook, best on market. But that would be a second or third round, right?
Second or third round, what? Submission or
finish for Oak?
Oh, just finish?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, plus 400, not bad. I think we uncovered a lot on this fight. But how do you rank the 3 fights? Let's hit that, and then we'll start breaking down the actual UFC fights.
So as like a whole fight,
let's do fantasy. Let's do fantasy. No,
but I'm saying like both sides of a fight. I like the second fight, the Nakamura fight, the best because I think both guys are in play for me. And then it would be Kim, and then it would be
Rangbu.
Yeah, Szalay Rangbu would be next because I don't like Lou, but that's the way I'd kind of rank it from a DFS scoring angle. Just because like I could see Szalay Rangbu getting a knockout in the second or third round, but he doesn't have like the volume or any like takedowns or control time to kind of go with it. So it doesn't score as well or good enough for him. Whereas like if Nakamura does that, he's probably going to be good at his price.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's funny because I almost have it like 1A and 1B for Mar Fan because of the grappling. And then because I'm so high on Nakamura as a play and not as a prospect, but as an entity, right? Like with that volume-based striking, which is just equal to the grappling, it's kind of difficult for me to slice those two. And then there's a bit of a gap to Szalay Rangbu, and especially because of the pricing, right? Like he's competing with the Benoit Saint-Denis in the studs. We have Isaac Delgarian in the chat again, man. I'm not a fan. Maybe he's not a fan of us.
Shout out to my Armenian brother.
He's always in chat. Isaac, thank you for viewing us on this beautiful UFC 325 card. We move on to the next fight of the night where we see Con Offley versus Ye Zah. Last time out, I think I said Con is Offley, and you said, Mike, you're going to be regretting saying that, and guess what happened? I regretted saying it because he paid off as a big underdog last time out against Ricardo Ramos.
He just finds himself in submissions.
Yeah, but here's a guy that's going to fight for your money. I mean, he grabs the cage, he cheats. That's fine. That's a guy you want to get behind in Offley. Ye Zah coming in as a favorite, minus 238 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Con Offley comeback is a plus 195. Apparently, you're the Offley, I don't know, truth sayer after that last fight. Give it to me, man. I mean,
I just know Ramos. You don't trust him.
At least we knew to play his fight.
And this is the thing, like the way Offley's going to win this fight is that way, right? It's with his grappling. He is a cheater though. He likes to stall fights too. At times you're going to see, guys up against the fence, trying to control guys up against the fence, stalling the scoring for DFS. He's not a great DFS scorer when he's not getting that finish. You know what I mean? And if I remember correctly, that was a pretty early finish. Yeah, first round finish, and he scored 98. He got the takedown, obviously, got some control time, but that was about it.
Do you see this on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
This is pathetic. This is terms to get cut from the UFC. When you have a negative differential that bad, it is one of the most telling signs that you are not UFC caliber.
So, and they don't even give the under on significant strikes too. They know. Offley is not. That's just the type of fighter he's gonna. That's how he's gonna fight. So, for DFS purposes, I think this fight is kind of a bad fight to target. There goes Mike. He's out. I don't know when he'll be back, but I don't like this fight for fantasy. This is probably one of those fights. I could see Offley stalling this fight out early. Both these guys have grappling, and it kind of depends, who gets their grappling going early or first. And I could see it taking a little bit. I don't see it where it just, like last fight where it just happened in the first round. I think Ye Zah is good enough to where it's going to take a while, whether it's Offley getting the grappling. And I think Ye Zah does have the advantage on the feet just because Con Offley's not good at all.
Say it. Say it. You hate your puns. Say
no,
it.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it,
Why?
but he's not good on the feet. And so, yeah, for fantasy scoring purposes, I don't like either of these guys.
No.
But
there's only one play.
Well, Offley at 7,400 is cheap. Like if he somehow lucks into a finish, he's
it's a win
gonna
equity
score
play though.
well
In
enough.
this particular card, I think you're looking for ceilings, right? I don't think you're looking for win equity. Last card,
I don't want to play either of these guys, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. You're playing it strictly based on ownership if you're going to play one of these guys. Ye Zah, I have on my projections being 15%. He's kind of in that same Dumar Fan, and I like Dumar Fan more just due to his style and being 10% owned. I like him significantly more than Ye Zah, but Offley being 15% as well, like you said, and it would be a very particular build for me to really attack one of the these guys, especially Offley. Like if I'm playing him, it's a specific build to be different.
What do we think about unders on Ye Zah? Do we like him? Do we not like? It's not like he throws a lot either. And I know Con game, he's gonna stall this fight.
Yeah,
he's gonna back you up against the fence. He's gonna try and hold you up against the fence for as long as possible. Like, and Ye Zah could play into it because Ye Zah wants to grapple too a little bit.
Yeah, so we have what 14.5, and it's it's 0.7x on pick 6. That's equal to the 66% that I just saw a second ago. Like the total being minus 200 on DraftKings. That's right aligned with the 0.66, right? So that's an accurate line. Unders would be. It's just scary to go on an under, right? Like it could be. It could be down the stretch. He's just getting enough from top position, even against the cage. If he's just ripping a couple just to get those numbers up, I don't think we have to touch it. I'd like to take the under 82.5. Can we keep that in our back pocket if we need something
we can
later?
put it in for now, and then we'll if we got to take one out, that'll be the first one because I don't mind that either.
Yeah, this one is not a fight I'm going to be overexposed to at all, but you know me, I like my captain mode. This is a captain mode type of slate because when you get bust by one of these first few fights, you're going to be wanting to get back in the action, and the captain mode is certainly one of those paths to doing so. Let's move on to the next fight of the night where we see Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott. We have Micallef being a minus 125 favorite. A little bit of money coming in on Oban Elliott at a plus 105. When Elliott came in, man, I thought this guy was going to be a fantasy darling. I mean, he had the grappling, he had control, which we love to see. Very good scoring ability for fantasy purposes. What does he do last time? He gets manhandled by Ko. But, I mean, Ko's been awesome for us for fantasy purposes. This is a decent spot to get right for him. And I don't think people are going to want to go to him. I see on the betting market, like I said, we've seen some come back in on him. Like people are buying back in at that plus money. Like once it got to plus 125, it started to go right back down to plus 105. I like Elliott as a play for fantasy. For a bet, from a trust standpoint, I can't trust this guy. Can you trust Oban? And Micallef is not great, but I don't think either of these guys are the best in the world. I think Micallef is a guy who's going to be a 50-50 type of fighter in the UFC. He's going to be a decision machine. I don't see a ton to be had, but I think there's really only one side you can play.
Yeah, I think the side would be Micallef, however you say his name. He's the better fighter. I don't know if he's very good, but I think he's better than Oban. And I think he's better in the areas like both these guys want to be at range, and Micallef's just better in that. He's got better kicks. I think Oban could have better like boxing, but I think he's going to struggle to get inside of someone like Jonathan here. And I just don't think Oban's very good. Like I think Jonathan's just a little better in all the areas. So I don't know if this fight scores well is my issue. It's another fight where I see decision written all over it just because I don't think Oban's very good. He is pretty tough. He's somewhat durable. I don't know if there's a necessarily a finish in this in both their style. If I don't think Oban's gonna be taking this dude down, so I don't think either of their styles are gonna score well in a non-finish fight here. So, yeah, I'm not playing Oban, and I'll have some Micallef just because I think he could find a shot to hurt him and maybe finish him here, but I think this fight majority of the time goes to the cards.
Yes, that's the problem is where is Elliott? Is he just not UFC caliber, which you were alluding to, and that is very well possible? Or is he a guy that's going to expose a guy like Micallef, right? Micallef is one of these guys who comes in with the Contender Series, right? He gets that triangle choke. Okay, he kind of, I don't want to say fall into it, but opportunistic jiu-jitsu, right? And then Kevin Jousset out of the UFC already. You know what I mean? It's one of these weird situations where what has he been facing? And is Elliott actually at that level or not? Because like I said, he is fantasy relevant in his wins. Val Woburn, I mean, I God honest truth forgot that he was even in the UFC. He got knocked down by Val. So I think that's a really, really bad look. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's scoring in it due to a finish equity. And we both don't think there's a finish, right? So I think it's very difficult to play these guys. Pick six wise, I mean, we want all the unders, but the unders are steamed. Not time wise.
It's definitely an under fight. I kind of agree with K Falik. This is kind of how I see it too. And again, Elliott wants to do a similar thing to Jonathan. So yeah, I definitely see a finish. This is a decision here. This is definitely a fight I'm gonna be really low on.
There's a couple fighters that are 10% to 15%, and Micallef falls into that category. I mean, both of these guys do. Elliott.
What do we think about just because I think it's? I mean, we think it's a decision fight. What do we think about Micallef's significant strikes over 37 and a half?
The last fight out is more representative of anything for him. That is a great pick. And let's just see the striking defense or lack thereof for Oban. So let's see, grappling for Hafiz, right? Parsons would have grappled. He's faced a lot of grapplers, so this number is very good, right? Because they're not representative of a stand-up fight.
Yep.
Meaning I like your over.
Yeah. All right, let's plug that in there for now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a great call there. And we move on to, I think this has to be the fan favorite fight of the night. This is Torrez Finney fight week, baby, versus Jacob Malkoun. Jacob Malkoun, a -155 favorite. Everyone's favorite fighter, Torrez Finney, a +130. They are flying Finney overseas to perhaps do the job for a Australian, New Zealand guy in Malkoun. It's a very interesting stylistic fight. This is the one where I talked about two guys with wrestling chops that negate it for fantasy purposes. But I think you still have to lick your chops because Finney actually hits pretty damn hard. And Malkoun has been chinned in the past. I think there's a lot of concerns here for the Malkoun side. There's a lot of hype behind Finney, not like super prospect, right? I think it's kind of the community getting behind him. Malkoun had surgery. He's been out for 2 years. How is he a -155 with all of these question marks about health and competitive nature in the grappling, right? I guess what the betting odds are saying, and I thought of this all week, is just that Finney tires out quickly. They've flown him over. He's probably going to tire deep into the second, third round, and then Malkoun can take over. And he certainly has way better jiu-jitsu props and than Finney. I think this is a binary type of fight, though. I think that Finney is a sneaky play for fantasy. I think everybody wants to play him, but damn, is it a trap, dude. It is scary because if Malkoun gets a finish here, he's going to kill off a lot of ownership. I think a 25% owned guy in Finney.
Yeah, Finney's he's a tough dude to break down because I think he's a terrible fighter. And, well, no, I don't think it. I know he's a terrible fighter, but he does one thing really well, and that's just like rack up takedowns. And what does DraftKings scoring lean to, Mike? It leans to takedowns. It leans heavily on takedowns. So this fight could be terrible, but like what happens if Torrez Finney does have like 8 takedowns in this fight? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how he gets there. So it is a really tough fade, in my opinion, even though I think he's going to lose this fight. At 7,600. If he does win, Mike, what's the scoring look like in a Torrez Finney win? Because we know he's not striking in a win.
That's the big thing for me. I would like unders on his significant strikes, please, blindly. But the problem is they aren't going to give you a single prop on that market.
No.
Malkoun's health is the whole thing for me. It's like, is he coming in healthy? I'd have to imagine so. Look at his average takedown per 15.
No, Finney should be set at 1.5. You got to give him that half. Yeah, it's not 1. It should be 1.5. But yes.
But
Side note, Paul George suspended 25 games for substance abuse policy. Hate to see it, Paul. Hate to see it.
Well, I don't know anything about basketball. I'm skipping over that.
Oh, God. That's your worst take on the show, Mike.
That's fine. That's fine. Come at me. The Finney side, though, here's a take. I do think he's the more powerful striker. I think that if there's going to be a
powerful, how? We don't see him strike.
He throws. He's just like this wild.
He throws because he throws like this. He's like a rock'em sock'em robot. What do you mean throws? Jeez, that's crazy.
What do you see?
Throws 4 strikes in a fight, and we're like, yeah, he throws heavy, like.
But then he gasses out after the 2 strikes. Finney's going to be the highest owned underdog, I think, on this slate. 30%. Yeah, I'm coming in.
Where am I coming in?
Besides Lopes, can we just say outside of Lopes? I'm not. I'm. That's its own situation.
I'm like,
we're going to have to deal with.
I got Saber. We got him in at like 25%. What do you have him at 30?
Yes, right there. 25 to 30 is where I would say.
And I'm like right around there. I think 25, 23%, somewhere around there. And honestly, I want less. It's just like.
Isn't it a tricky fight because they're both. I think Malkoun will be about 20, probably closer to the 15 to 20. I would rather him be closer to 10% with those Dumar fans. Because Finney's going to stall out his scoring.
My issue with Finney by KO is, so what you need for Finney by KO, I think personally, is you need ground and pound. And the problem is he's so concerned with control that he's constantly just like holding on to you, like bear hugging your legs or bear hugging your butt. So like you don't have that many opportunities to actually get like the ground and pound finish. And we already know he's not throwing a ton of strikes on the feet. So it just seems kind of thin, but I get it. I get the number.
Look at this.
Look at for it.
3 of his 4 fights that have been tracked by UFC stats, he has been outstruck in.
He's going to get outstruck in this fight. The question is, can Malkoun stop the takedowns at some point in this fight? Because if he can,
he's got jiu-jitsu.
What?
He's got the jiu-jitsu chops to just kind of do it.
But Cam Rousston had the jiu-jitsu too. What was his problem? Go watch the Cam Rousston fight. Cam Rousston kept getting up, but he kept getting put back down. As opposed to like, can someone like stop the takedowns and not get into playing the jiu-jitsu with him and stuff like that? Because he's just going to keep trying to take you down. At some point, the level of competition, these guys are going to have to stuff a takedown or 2 in a row in the second and third round to be able to finish or hurt Torrez Finney. That's the key.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that at all. it's interesting. Let's circle back to the fantasy talk, like when I'm building my lineups, when you're building your lineups on this one. You could go back and forth all
though
day.
I think Malkoun wins this fight, the stalling of Torrez Finney, like if Malkoun did win like a split or something like it, he's going to score like super low. Because
we didn't talk about the hometown guys. There's going to be some rub on this card.
Yeah. I could see the under on his fantasy points, even though I think he wins. But who do you have winning? Do you have Finney winning?
I have Malkoun. Yeah. Greasy decision. Like, he doesn't fight the best in the world.
D. Finney is this week's D. Freeman. I fell into the D. Freeman trap. Hands up. I fell into that trap. I'm not falling into the Finney trap. You're right. God, that was
we don't have to touch this for pick 6. I'll tell you that much. If we're both back and forth on it, I think there's juicier stuff.
Dana White's trying to get Finney's passport revoked while he's in Australia. No, if 100%, if he hugs Malkoun all fight, Dana White is going to try and leave him there. 100%.
Oh man. Let's move on to one of the opponents. Actually, fun fact, both of these guys fought, all right, or like Brundage and Rousston. Malkoun fought Brundage, and Finney obviously lost to Rousston.
But by the way, I didn't say this, but I think this fight is split decision written all over it. Judges hate the takedown stuff. Nothing's done with the takedowns. I could totally see split.
I don't. That's a good call. That's a really good call, actually. Yeah. The problem is you're not going to get a 7 or 8 to 1. You're going to get like a plus 250.
Yeah, you're probably going to get like a 3 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, disgusting line. But we have Cam Rousston coming in at a minus 375 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Cody Brundage come back at a plus 295. When are we going to stop having to break down Cody Brundage's fights? Is this the spot where Cam Rousston takes out the veteran savvy guy, kind of gets into that picture of now I'm moving up the food chain? Certainly looks like it. The betting market is following his side of things. He's just massive. He's an absolutely huge guy for the division. He's going to hold a 6-inch reach advantage in this spot. He's going to hold a volume advantage for sure on the feet. And if Brundage goes in with a takedown game plan, he will gas out. He probably will cheat to try to roll to the back, hit the back of my head, let me get a disqualification win. I'm being sarcastic and honest at the same time. This is a guy who knows the rule book, tries to win fights in greasy ways. Don't go for takedowns if you're Brundage, because you're going to gas out. He's just not a complete fighter. If he was a complete fighter, he would be fantastic for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, and I think he's going to struggle with the size and the reach of Cam Rousston. He struggled in the last fight against Micallef, who had a 77-inch reach and 5-inch reach advantage. Rouston's got a 6-inch reach advantage. He's got a 3-inch height advantage. And I think Cody's going to have issues getting inside on someone like Cam Rousston, who can just wait and hurt him. And he's got Cam Rousston, I think, is a pretty solid fighter all around. He's got jiu-jitsu. I think his striking's decent. He's got good elbows and knees and stuff like that. And Cody, we see it all the time with him. He can get reckless at times, and you got to be careful. And I could see him getting frustrated with someone like Cam Rousston and just the size and reach advantage that he's going to have. So, yeah, I like Cam Rousston in this fight. I think it's a good fight to target, I think, for DFS because of the way these guys fight. I think Cody Brundage is going to, kind of fight in a way that's going to help Cam Rousston get in early finish or something like that. And, if somehow Cody found a way to win, he's going to score well at that price tag. But I think this is Cam Rousston all day, and I like him to finish this fight. Probably an under. What's the under? 1.5?
We have a total coming in on this fight at a 1.5.
Yeah, I like the under on this fight. 1.5 at minus 110.
Look at the betting line on DraftKings Sportsbook. Started at a minus 105 down to a minus 120. That just screams risk adverse. Like, stop the takedown, push him away, strike at distance. But like you said, there's an A side. There's an A+ side here, right? In Rousston against Brundage, who is pretty soft, right? Like if he gets hit, he probably will be quitting. He's quit many, many times before. I think this card comes down to ranges, though, right? And when you're looking at Rousston for fantasy purposes, his price tag is competing with those likes of Benoit Saint-Denis, Tixer, Salkild's in his own hemisphere. Let's just let that be. How are you playing the upper range? You seem to really like Rousston, right? But do you kind of match all of these guys, the Tixeras, the Benoit Saint-Denis, and the Roustons? Or are you going to take a stand on one of these top 3 guys? After hearing you Rousston, I'd be amazed if you don't like him over some of the other guys that are, a little bit higher. I think the heavyweight, people want to go to heavyweight, and people certainly want to go to Benoit Saint-Denis.
Yeah. So I have 4 like clear spends, and then I have like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have Cam Rousston up there near the Teixeiras and the Benoit Saint-Denis and stuff like that. They're all pretty close. I wouldn't say I rank Cam Rousston number 1, but he's up there. It kind of like some of these fights we'll get into where it's like I kind of like both sides of a fight, and then some of them where I just like one side. So this is a fight where I'm not playing a lot of Cody Brundage, but like if you're 150ing, Cody Brundage is coming in at like 10%. You can get 10% of Cody Brundage.
He's an elite play from leverage standpoint and the salary. Because here's the situation. If you're playing Brundage and he wins, he's allowing you to get towards the competing fighters against Rouston's range, which then those combinations aren't going to exist.
Right, exactly. So am I at the field on Cody Brundage? Technically, yes. But like I still have some Cam. Now there's other fights where I'm fading certain guys and I'm playing jamming other guys. So I might have a little more technically, but from a confidence standpoint, I feel pretty good about Cam Rousston. I feel good that he's good enough to finish Cody Brundage.
I totally misspoke and agree with Mike's statement. He is undefeated, Finney. But is he against Rousston? If you rematched right now, Rousston would be -400 versus Finney.
I mean, and Finney did absolutely nothing in that fight too, is the funniest part. Like he just kept taking him down. It's
yeah, when damage is
gross, man.
Damage is the first criteria, and damage is going to be interesting in the next fight of the night. Oh, we don't really. You love your unders. You just wish it was 110, don't you? For fantasy points for Rousston.
Cam Rousston, 102.5. I think he could get it. I mean,
yeah, you can't play it against Brundage, right? Like a deep first round finish.
I don't think I want to play it against him. I want to go with the knockout here, but we don't need it. There's still plenty of fights.
What if the size happens, right? That's the problem. What if the size plays out? He just ends up over the top of him and says, all right, I'll take the net. I knocked you down and big brothered you. Let me just take that neck. And we talk about big brothering. I unintentionally had a good transition here because Billy Alakana should go in there and big brother Junior Tafa. We have Billy Alakana as a -279. Look at this movement. I mean, absolutely hammered in the last 6 days, and even 24 hours, he's been another 20, 30 cents down. DraftKings Sportsbook -278 for Billy. We have Junior Tafa coming in at a +225. I see this fight being as simple as Billy go in there, exploit that takedown defense for Tafa, get him out of there early, because if Tafa's angry, he could still nail Billy with the knockout. You talk about leverage on this card. I don't think anybody wants to touch the Tafa brothers. There's Tafa and Tuivasa. We'll talk about Tuivasa later. Tuivasa falls into that Derek Lewis category where a lot of people fell into. You'd imagine going from heavyweight down to the lower weight class, right? Light heavy, that you'd be faster, you'd be better. That has not helped Junior Tafa, JSU.
No, I'm not a big Junior Tafa guy. We clearly know that, you're getting subbed by Tuco Tokos and, some of these guys like that's not a great look, obviously. And I think this fight is going to end similar. I think Billy Alakana is going to get him down in the first round, maybe the second round, and find a sub at some point here. So I like Alakana. I like him by sub. Now, if it's quick and there's not a lot of volume and there's not a knockdown, but it's not quick enough to get the bonus, Alakana could fall in that range where he scores like 95 to 100, Mike, and somehow isn't optimal at that because a couple guys score like 105, 110 plus. So I like Alakana. I think he's a good play, but you know, I feel pretty good about him winning and finishing him. I just, you know, I get worried about that because if he does finish him early, we're not going to get the volume, and we're not going to get. It's probably going to be a takedown to a submission.
You want pitter patter. You want this. You want
We're
Billy
not
to get
getting
that top position and just play the bongos on him, because I think he's going to try to control. I mean, last time out, Billy looked.
He could shell up. He could shell up and ground and pound and stuff like that. It could. I just, you know, his easiest path is definitely finding a sub is my only thing. So
remember last fight?
I will say though, if Junior Tafa can keep this thing standing, like he is the more powerful guy and everything like that. I just think Billy's going to be too quick, and I think he's going to be able to get the takedowns.
It's not a test. It's just a test of IQ for Billy on this fight, in my opinion. Because, I mean, again, stay out of that range to get just absolutely clobbered.
Right.
That's Tafa's path, is to land. And I think it's limited. If you're playing Tafa, oh boy, you're going to be falling into that Derek Lewis type of situation, lower volume, right? Like, I don't see Tafa coming out with a volume game plan.
Yeah. Alakana averages less than 1 takedown per 15. I mean, that doesn't matter. He does, like, literally, it's who he's fighting too. Look at who he's fighting, how this dude's lost fights. There's one clear path to victory when you fight Tafa. And you look at Billy Alakana, he's not the biggest dude in this weight class, right, Mike? He's not. So he uses his speed more. The speed advantage is going to play here. And he finds himself in grappling situations, even though the takedown numbers don't show itself. He just naturally finds himself in these situations, whether it's due to scrambles or whatever. And he does have some skills when it goes there. So I get the numbers don't show it, but don't forget the Goosegoff fight. Don't forget the Goosegoff fight where he had him down for, what was that, like initially? And he went for that takedown like right away. He was
late notice, so he had a little gas tank. So you have to remember, not a lot in the gas tank. He had
I know that, but I'm saying that was like his first initial thing. And Goosegoff's got like skills, you know. Aslan, he was a little different because he's slow. He slowed down a ton, so like the power was there, but he was slow enough, like he didn't have to do anything. And then you got the Christian fight.
Well, Christian,
I think you're going to see him go all in for a takedown in round 1. That's my guess on this fight here. So,
yeah, it's just styles make fights, and Junior Tafa taken down 5 times by Tukos.
Wait,
Tukos
how is this the same logic? How is this the same logic as the Paddy fight? I don't get it, because Paddy doesn't have good takedowns. Justin has good takedown defense. Justin was a higher level fighter than anyone Paddy's ever fought. That was the logic. How is this the same logic? You think Junior Tafa is a good fighter? I don't think Billy's that great of a fighter, but you think Junior Tafa is like an amazing fighter? Because I don't. I'm surprised in the UFC.
The credentials,
it is not the same logic. It is not the same logic as all. And trust me, because I use the logic to tell you guys not to play Paddy. Trust me, it's not the same logic. And I assume you mean Oban Elliott. I didn't like Oban Elliott. I think Mike liked him a little bit.
I liked him a little, and it's not like slam play. It's not a core play. It's none of these things. It's just an option for you to differentiate in the middle range if you're multi-entering. But that fight sucks. Let's just be honest.
Must not have watched this show. Somebody here didn't think that was going to happen.
I'll raise my hand on Paddy. I just thought that he would.
No, I'm
actively
talking
go for
about. I'm
takedowns.
talking about him not watching the show because
That's
everyone
fine.
did not say that.
No,
This
but
guy.
Tafa is not gonna be able to stop takedowns. When he came into the UFC, he was
That's the key, though. Like Justin, the one takedown that Paddy went for, Justin stopped. Like he stopped it. He stopped it easily too, and Paddy tried. That like I don't think if Billy Alakana goes in for one takedown, just goes all out, Mike says, I don't care what I'm going for this takedown. It's not just like a half-ass takedown. He goes all in for it. I don't think Junior is gonna stuff it. Is the difference. That's what you're not. That's what I think you're missing on the difference here. I get what you're saying, or I get how you're trying to put it, but it's different. There's different levels between these guys.
It is comical how much time we have spent on a Junior Tafa fight.
Hey,
But I will
is a
say,
good fight for DFS.
oh, I will say that the beginning of the Walter Walker machine, if I'm not mistaken, was beginning through Junior Tafa's leg, wasn't it? And it was with like 10 seconds left. The takedown, he got the takedowns, right? Bang, bang, boom, got him down. And then he said, I will sell out to rip your leg off. And he tapped so quick.
What's Billy's takedown line? Is it 1.5?
That's going to take me a second to pull up. On pick 6 or score?
Well, it's not there on pick 6. I mean, I was wondering if it was there. It's got to be 1.5, right?
I don't think they're going to offer it, just like our significant strikes we wanted. Remember? And that, nope, they do. They have 2 takedowns is plus 120 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Tafa's not getting up after 1, so you're hoping.
So you're going to need it to go into the second round.
Yep. If you wanted to ladder it, 3 takedowns is almost 3-1 plus 275. 4 takedowns, 450. 5 takedowns, 650. I'm not advising that because I think there's a finish. I think it is a
if it's going that long, Billy might get finished. Honestly, if it's going that long, we might see a finish the other way.
Yeah. Why did I think Billy was from the region? Why is he showing an American flag?
No, Tafa does. Tafa's from there.
Of course he is. Yeah. That's why I'm like, huh? But we both like the Billy side. I think that's what we came conclusion to. This is the rare spot where I would like to take the over 93.5. I don't think we both will land there, but it is what it is. I think the Tafa is just going to give up a lot of points. And if you're looking for a fantasy very big curveball, if you're using Tafa, that's a type of guy that can win you $200,000 up top alone if you're playing him. Let's move on to the next fight of the night with the biggest favorite. Is he the biggest favorite of the year? A minus 1,000. Quillen Sackhild versus the late notice Jamie Malarkey plus 650 for Mr. Malarkey. That's what it comes down to. Late notice from Malarkey, a chinny guy, does not wear damage well. Quillen last time out, I believe he was 8,100 on DraftKings Sportsbook. He was a slight value on for fantasy, and he has the knockout of the year. I mean, that head kick just murked Nazarat. Beautiful head kick. A lot of hype now, right? Like if we look at these average odds of him closing a minus 200, minus 400, well, we will never count an unsold Jubilee, right? But an average odds about a minus 250 for his closing, and now we're getting him at a minus 1,000. I have red flags, but he should be able to get the job done very, very easily and handedly. Problem is for fantasy, I cannot get to him. If you say you like him, I'm going to be shocked. 9,700, $400 more than anyone on this card. This is a horrible inverse of buy low. This is, if you're buying way too high on this guy, JSU.
Yeah. I don't love the price tag on Sackhild. I do think, although Jamie Malarkey is pretty ass, so he should be able to get this win, but I don't love paying 9,700 for him. So it's definitely a spot where I will come in probably under on the field. Let me pull my stuff up real quick. Yeah, okay. I'm like right in line with the field. And honestly, I don't even want that. It's saying like 25% ish, Mike, around. Is that what you got coming in at?
For Salkield,
Yeah.
I'm seeing him at 40, and I think that's steep. I think it's because when you get in a smaller field or higher dollar things, people are going to put in a minus 1,000. And I don't think that they look at the inside the distance line, which they should be, right? Like, I feel like that's a fallacy that we see. And you look at the 150 maxers, or you look at these guys that are playing high volume, like the pros, they're going to take a Salkield. And I think that's that's just a wrong way to approach it. A minus 400 is a great line, of course, but you're sacrificing so much salary to get to Salkield. I don't like the 40%. I think it's super easy to cut that thing in half, right? You actually just said you thought it was 25, right? So basically in half.
Well, that's what I'm showing on my stuff. But yeah, either way, I think, yeah, I'm definitely under on 40. That seems way too high. And I'm not playing Malarkey. I that dude's time is definitely done. But could he, hang on for a round or something like that? Yeah, he could definitely. For the purposes of DFS and stalling out a round or something like that. Now, Salkiel could come in and try and wrestle hard. I feel like he tried to do it initially in the Hapras fight, and it just, he was shooting from a little far out, didn't work out, and then he found that ridiculous knockout and stuff like that. But, he is a guy that will go for high volume takedowns and stuff like that. So he does have a path to scoring well for, DraftKings scoring. So I get why, when you look at his fights, why he could be priced this high, but I do think it's a spot where I'm going to be lower than the field, and no Malarkey for me. I don't know about you, but I agree.
I'm not full of Malarkey.
Bro, this fight could definitely bust.
Well, that's what I just said like 30 seconds before you started talking about Salkild, right? Like,
well, sorry, I wasn't listening to everything you said. I got 100 different things going on here, Mike.
I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I'm not full of Malarkey.
Here we go again.
Come on, dude? They're giving me softballs with these puns. He just
I knew you were gonna do it too with fucking Jamie Malarkey. Come on. I want to get creative. Let's get creative, Mike.
Sal killed. There's something there, but no. I'm not going. Dude, 109.5. I don't need to say anything. It's your credos. You have your credos. I have my credos that we believe in this long-term betting, long-term plays. You have to, as a GSU play of the day, you have to go with your theme, right? You can't.
We gotta go under. We gotta go under.
You have to. So I think a second round finish is 85 points. I think a decision is possible too. My problem is, where's Malarkey? Does he go out with like a risk adverse game plan because of this late notice? Does he go in with I need to go in and sell out for a takedown? If he goes in with I need to go for a takedown and get this powerful striker down, he's fucked.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what he's gonna, obviously everyone saw the crazy knockdown. Who knows what Jamie Malarkey's gonna do? I mean, maybe he could come in and try and wrestle him a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if he tried to. Like,
he does wrestling. He's a generalist, Malarkey, and I like him when he's got a advantage to go for that grappling, because this is a guy that actually can score pretty damn well. But every time they've given him favorite status, he has not produced.
Hey, Andrew Nolan, you stop that right now. We don't need the fast win bonus, okay? No. Settle down. You can have 100 or even 105, Andrew, but no. We don't need that fast win bonus.
I'm trying to look at the fight pro.
I'm actually more worried about him getting like a bunch of takedowns, because I think that's the way he gets there.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's gonna show a little compassion for his co-patriot here, maybe play the.
No.
You think he's just going to murk him? It's plus 700 first minute finish, just to back that up. I'll take the odds that it's under, on that. It's minus 1,600 that it's not a first-minute finish.
Yeah, I'm with Boss, bro. Malarkey not trying to get starched at home. I kind of agree.
Yeah, risk adverse, which means we don't like it for fantasy purposes. Which fight do we like for fantasy purposes? Taliesin Tixera versus Tai Tuivasa. What a goddamn ugly fight. It is minus 310 for Taliesin Tixera. And then way game for him against the Tai Tuivasa, who comes in at plus 250. X's and O's, man, break it down because we've last fight out to Tixera. Just shake your head, right, man? I mean, I'm getting caught by Derek Lewis in that. What are you doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Teixeira went out there and tried to get him down to the mat early. He tried to do it against Tafa. Like he will go for that, and I don't think submission is out of the question here. Plus 750. I could see it happening. I do think he's gonna get this win though here. I don't think Tai is gonna stop him. You know, he did lose to Derek Lewis, but I think he's going to have a better game plan, be able to get this dude down. And I don't trust Tai at this point in his career. I get it if you don't want to, trust.
You don't trust the guy that's like a 0-7. Wait,
no.
Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight losses. Terzino Rosenstruck cut from the UFC. Marcin Tybura, enhancement talent.
God, I love that Rosenstruck fight too. Loved it. That was great. Easy money.
Do you know that he won on a scorecard? It was a split decision. One of them gave him a round. Let's not. We'll start going on another tangent if we go on that. This fight is a trap for fantasy. It is. It's one round of equity. It's as simple as that for me on fantasy. And if you're paying the price to get all the way to Taliesin, there's stronger plays around him statistically. This is a guy who should use his reach advantage. You alluded to it. He doesn't. He went for like a takedown or close the distance. That's not smart for us. We don't want that to happen. Use the reach advantage to that 13 significant strikes per minute. 45% is what I'm showing him for Taliesin. I think that Saint-Denis, you liked Rousston. I can imagine you significantly like Rousston more than Taliesin.
Well, not significantly, no. I definitely lean the Taliesin side here, just because I think it's going to end in the first round, and I think if it ends in the first round, he's got a very good chance to be optimal in that situation.
You played into my trap. You played into my trap. 10% Tai Tuivasa is too low for a guy like the Derek Lewis. He should be higher owned on a
love Tui. Like people are gonna bet Tui. That's gonna be like the underdog that people are betting that is just gonna get starched. He's gonna fall into like the Derek Lewis from last week. And I did bet Derek Lewis, so I did fall into that trap. But
context of slate is completely different. I told you last slate was going to be coming down to win equity. Alex Perez was the guy. It was the lower weight class that was all action that played out with a finish. A little bit of a fluky type of situation with a finish. That rarely happens. But it was a guy who historically was a high-scoring guy. This particular slate, I think you're looking towards lower-owned guys that could get leverage. And Tuivasa is that guy. I mean, it's Tuivasa or Tafa. I think if there's likely to be one of the two, it's Tuivasa that would be the guy to do it. Like you said, he's got name value, right? He certainly is going to get a lot of fan love behind him.
I agree, boss, bro. There's no way this dude's 10%.
You're saying you don't think that Tuivasa comes in at 10?
No, I think he's higher.
Okay. I think where ownerships are a little bit all over the place between you and I on this slate.
Car crash. I agree.
Yeah. Well, even if he comes in to say 15% owned, it's still low, and the amount of salary relief you're getting from him is tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and if you think it's a car crash, like, one of them's coming out, it's like the Derek Lewis fight. Like one of them's going to come out a winner. So
are we looking at anything for fantasy purposes? The only thing I see is over 21.5 strikes, and that would be move fighter. Where's Herzog? If we had Herzog on this fight, I'm slamming the over 21.5.
Yeah. I don't. If I were to take anything, it would probably be his fantasy points over. But
oh wow, the rare case you ever said over. Well,
We don't have to. We don't have to go to this fight. We still got a couple
absolutely
more
not.
fights here.
New picks available. Well, interesting. Never seen that uptick. But we do move to the next fight of the night. A very competitive fight, a very fun fight for the fans. If there's a finish, if it's a kickboxing match, people are going to be shaking their head. We have Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Rufy. Dead heat pick 'em on DraftKings Sportsbook, each -110. Does that translate to people wanting to go to the underdog now that we have a -110? Look at this, man. It's been talk about bouncing. It's bounced over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, where are you on this bounce train? Are you on the Fiziev side or the Ruffy side?
What is one of my credos? Yours is on this pick six, going under on significant or fantasy points when it's crazy. One of mine is buying low. I like buying low on Rufy here, but it's just not that good of a price tag, right? Like, I want plus money.
Buying low on the favorite.
I think it's possible here. I mean, isn't there more tools for Rufy?
No, I don't agree. I think that Fiziev is the better fighter, honestly. I think Rufy is maybe a little bit more of the flashier guy at distance. Maybe he's the better guy at distance. But you want to just talk about straight like hands. I mean, Fiziev is one of the best strikers we've seen in this division. He's nasty. And I mean, I think he's going to give Rufy issues. On top of it, I wouldn't be shocked if he threw in a couple takedowns at some points, because Ruffy's takedown defense, I don't know about that. And you want to talk about ways of kind of closing the distance, throwing in a takedown when they're not expecting it, or maybe Rufy will be in this fight. But I think Fiziev has a little bit more to offer here overall. And I think for him, the key is going to be stay away from that big shot. Just stay away from the big shot. Stay away from that big, crazy spinning stuff, which I think he's going to be smart enough to avoid here. And if he can stay away from that stuff, he's going to win this fight, whether it's by decision or I think it's a decision fight. Honestly, I think these guys are skilled enough where we see more of a decision fight. So I don't know how well it's going to score for DFS, but I do think if there's no finish, the fighter with a better chance of scoring more fantasy points in a win has to be Rafael Fiziev.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be value now, right? -110 for an underdog priced Fiziev. And we both think that overall, this fight probably doesn't score when it's a kickboxing match. So if you do think that Fiziev is going for takedowns, you have two things to back you up. You have the outside shot for those takedowns, which would be equating to a higher fantasy score, in that win equity, which, again, I still think you need 105 points out of each fighter on this slate. We both believe that. So it should lead you to say this fight probably not relevant for fantasy, but when you're looking at betting things, when you're looking at like the money movement, right? I mean, it's been pretty. The buyback on Rufy might be because he's now fighting over there with the Australian.
Look at Ruffy's scoring though. Like when he's not getting first round finishes, he's not scoring. He doesn't throw enough.
Wantop.
Even the Yontop fight, like, I mean, come on, he scored 68 in it, threw 67 significant strikes. He was a punching bag in that. The Yontop was literally a punching bag in that fight, but it's just not his style. He's looking for the flashy knockout. If he doesn't get the flashy knockout, though, Mike, what does he do? And against someone with the skills of Rafael Fiziev, who is definitely a step up in levels when it comes to striking from anyone he's fought. I don't care who you're talking about. When you just look at striking, this is the best guy he's fought.
Oh, 100%. We talk about
you're going to have issues if you're not throwing. You're going to have issues, and I think he's going to have issues in that department.
You think it could be a live bet spot? Like when you talk.
I think it's a bet Rafael Fiziev right now spot.
So I hope you got that plus money, because it was sitting all week at about a +1.
I did
10 plus 100.
Mike said I bet 3,000 on Fiziev money line. Get it, Mike. Get it. Well,
so you don't think anything into him being Rufy going over to the Volkanovski training camp?
I mean, I think that I think
You
it's gonna
can't
help
square
him.
up the defense in a few
Yeah. I
months.
mean, I think it's gonna square up some of the stuff. Maybe give him a little more urgency, maybe because he needs it. But again, if that happens, it kind of takes away from what makes him really good. That's the issue with Ruffy. But what makes him really good, if he's not, like I said, finding it, he's going to have issues against guys like at this level. The lesser guys, he won't. He'll be able to beat no problem. But the guys at this level, I think, are going to give him issues. So who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and he finds that finish. I just, I respect Fiziev.
Who's finished Fiziev?
Enough.
It's like who's actually finished Fiziev? Not many people.
Not many people, dude. And again, Justin Gaethje went to a decision with him twice, and Justin Gaethje is a tough matchup. And
we don't have to touch this from a pick six standpoint. You have it smoked on fantasy points. There's no way we're touching it. And then all the other ancillary.
If we did, it's got to be significant strikes for Rufi under. Or takedowns over. Honestly, 1.5.
No. I think that I gotta fight back a little. I don't agree, because if it's a kickboxing, there's just that slight uptick in significant strikes from UFC stats. I think it's iffy to even touch the significant strikes.
All right, fine. We won't do it then. I think the takedown line's live. I'll probably bet that in my prop stuff.
1.5. Yeah, definitely will look at it in 1 second on the sports book to see what it is, because I like my value. So if there is value there, we'll circle back. But we move on to the next fight, the co-main event of the evening: Daniel Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis, minus 345 favorite. Comeback on everyone's favorite striker. That I don't know, where is he in his career? Dan Hooker, a plus 275. Tough fight for Hooker, right? I mean, if Hooker gets striking going, he's going to look like $1 million. And if he stays alive, he still could look like $1 million, because Saint-Denis is a one-round fighter. And he is fantastic for fantasy purposes, scoring a zillion points before he gasses out. What are you seeing in this spot? Is there enough that Dan Hooker can stop some takedowns? I mean, it seems like they're like, all right, Dan, you're my enhancement talent. Go up there against the Armands, the Benoit Saint-Denis, and do the damn job, right?
Okay. I always do this here. I feel like every card. Last week it was the Paddy thing, and I went off. I'm going to do this, and I'm not always going to be right, but I don't give a shit, because this line is ridiculous, okay? Dan Hooker, a plus 275 underdog, is just absolutely ridiculous. And I think people are buying in way too much into the Arman Tsarukyan getting subbed in the second round. Arman Tsarukyan is a different level above BSD. He's a different level above all these guys. Arman Tsarukyan is at the level of title, like 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Either he's the best or he's the second best, okay? I think there's only one guy in the division right now that could beat Arman. And it's obviously not BSD, and it's not Dan Hooker. So, yeah, Dan Hooker is going to get rolled by Arman. Arman's going to roll most of the people in that division. But, this isn't the same fight. BSD is a level below him. He's still unbelievable, but it's still a level below Arman. So when I look at this fight, I'm like, okay, it reminds me a little bit of the Dan Hooker Mateusz Gamrot line. Do you remember that line? Because that line is very similar to this line. Dan Hooker was like a plus 250 underdog. And everyone just thought Dan Hooker, he's going to get taken down. I told you guys in that fight, Dan Hooker can stop the takedowns. Mateusz isn't that dangerous on the feet, so he's got nothing to worry about. That's the only difference, though, between BSD and Gamrot, is BSD is definitely much more dangerous on the feet than someone like Mateusz is. Now, is BSD's wrestling as good as Mateusz? I don't think it is. Is BSD's jiu-jitsu better than Mateusz? It is. but he's still got to get Dan Hooker down and control him and not slow down, because I don't think he's going to be able to just get him down and submit him very easily. I don't think it's going to, people think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy to do against Dan Hooker. So what happens when BSD starts to slow down? Because Dan Hooker is going to have to just defend takedowns. If he can get BSD to kind of get tired, that's where Dan Hooker can take over. And don't forget, this dude beat Jalen Turner. He beat Gamrot. He's won fights being a big dog or coming back from getting brutally beat up before. I think he's a good dog to put a little bit of money behind. Again, I'm not saying he's a lock or anything like that, but I think at this point in the line, I'm betting Dan Hooker, and I'm going to play a bunch of this fight. This is a fight that right now I've got 80% of right now in DFS. This is one of those fights that I want to be way over on. I'm going to be way over on Dan, obviously. I'm probably going to be like at the field on BSD and just jam, because I think the winner of this fight is going to be optimal. Whether it is just BSD getting him to the ground a bunch and then finding a finish at some point, or Dan Hooker withstanding the first round pressure and then putting it on in the second and finding a finish in the late second or something like that. I think that's how this fight could go. It's one of two ways. So yeah, I'm on the Hooker side of bet. Probably not a very popular take. I think everyone's on the BSD side. You know,
how many times can we get burned by BSD? I'm a BSD guy. I think Saint-Denis is very, very talented, but his skill set's fairly limited, and he doesn't wear damage. He doesn't like damage. What is the number one scoring criteria? I'm going to help back your point up. It's damage. And Hooker's very clearly the guy that's going to create damage. Guys do not like getting hit by Hooker. That's why they rely on getting those takedowns.
Well, Hooker's a big dude. Hooker, like he's a big dude when you look at him next to all these other guys. He's a massive guy. And I'll just say this. Okay, he gets KO'd by Elliott. So I said there's two guys. Whether you rank Armin 1 or 2, he's there. That's the level. There's those levels, and then there's levels below them. And that's what I'm talking about. So whether you think he gets KO'd by Elliott, that's different. Armin's rolling everyone else, though. He's doing whatever he wants to everyone else. He'll take them down. Islam didn't even want to fight Armin. You know why? Because Islam even knew that the only way Islam can actually lose outside of someone catching him coming in is just someone counter wrestling him. He knows it. That's why he goes up to this division, Mike, and he's fighting all these guys. It's like, yeah, I know I'm better at this thing than they are. So no one can stop me when I want to do it. Armin actually had the chance, and he didn't want to fight Armin. That's why. It was strategic. That's why we never saw the rematch.
Side note, Armin said he might move weight divisions if things don't pan out.
Oh, God.
I'm like, oh, man, but that would just be a disaster. And then
Please don't. Please don't. I want to see Armin or Islam against Elliott. Can we just get one of those fights, please?
Yeah, so I want to point out, somebody said massive leverage spot. It is, but the problem is he's probably going to get taken down in the first round. He's going to be limited scoring, right? Like your leverage is based upon a first round knockout. And on this particular slate, you're still looking for those 100 points. I don't care if you're.
What does the second round knockout do for us?
Then you're going to need everything else in that middle range to bust, right? No 100 plus
do
points.
You know, 7K, a second round knockout.
So what are we talking? So a 0, like 5 points in the first. I'll give you a little bit of points, right?
Okay, 5.
75, 85, right, with a knockdown.
85 with the knockdown, and that's saying that there's not a ton of volume. It's just a knockdown and
correct, like pretty linear, just being
so somewhere between but let's say somewhere between 85 and 90. Does that not get you there?
I don't know if it's enough. And I'm dead serious about that, because think of these middle range Nakamura type spots. What's above?
Who doesn't like
the Dumar Fan? What?
He said, said, who doesn't like a hooker?
I mean, they're priced right as well.
Price right as well. You go
Flip
for that
function.
$7 for that $7.
Oh boy, yeah. This might be the last time for me if I get burned by Benoit Saint-Denis. It's just this. What is it? 9K. So you go Tixer, Benoit Saint-Denis, Rousston. All these guys could be 115 points, and also the floor is concerning for some of them,
Well,
right? Like if they get knocked out because of
that's
leverage.
the thing, though. Do they all have that? Like, I think BSD also. The problem is, I think BSD has one of the highest ceilings of all these 9K guys.
Oh, absolutely, because of the style and
Because of the
aggression.
style, exactly.
But the only way
like,
you're
bro,
seeing
like
is
Billy
Tixer.
Alakana, I feel good he wins. But
I like Billy Alakana more than these 9K guys.
Because I feel confident that he's going to win and get me like 100. But like, if I'm being honest, who has the better chance of scoring 130? Billy Alakana or BSD? Even though I think I like Dan Hooker. No, I know I like Dan Hooker more than Junior Tafa. But who has a better chance of scoring 130?
Who has a better chance right now of scoring 130?
In their matchups, yeah.
For just to give me the two again, I spaced.
For Billy Alakana and BSD.
Yep.
They're right next to each other. Who has a better
I like
chance?
the price discount on Alakana.
But do you think he can score 130?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't think the way he wins, he scores that.
I think he can. A deep first round finish would be a beautiful situation, and he's probably going to have to. I don't think it's going to be like the first takedown, he just grabs his neck and chokes him. That's a terrible situation for fantasy. Benoit Saint-Denis could go risk adverse. He does go balls to the wall, right? Second or third round finish for Benoit Saint-Denis may not be the best thing in the world for him in this case. It's a price situation, right? Like, I want the $300 to play with. That's where I think the key situation is. Tight money's very, very tight on this slate for me and the way that I build. I think for others, maybe they're going to be inherently a little bit more risky, right?
Yeah. I mean,
well, if I'm playing Dumar Fan, obviously BSD is the better play, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're playing different ranges, and I think if Billy is just enough down below that he doesn't fall in the Benoit Saint-Denis.
No, listen, I like Billy. I just don't think he has the upside without that bonus that you're thinking he does.
Yeah, and the way you talked up,
because you're not getting volume. You got to remember this. What'd you say about his takedown? You said if he gets a takedown in the first round, what Junior Tafa's not getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're not getting the volume of takedowns.
I got control time, pitter patter. Give me some of that.
He's going to be looking for, I don't know if he's going to pitter patter. I think he's going to be hunting for the sub.
What did you have on Hooker, just to ownership wise, just so I know? Because we've been all over the place between you and I on ownership. I have him at 20.
I've got him at 12.
Oh, so we're all over the place when it comes to ownership, which is interesting because that makes it even more of a complex card, doesn't it? Because if we're getting all different numbers, dynamics start shifting with the slate.
What's the decision? What's the fight to go to decision?
That's a really good call.
What? Because Dan Hooker is tough. Like, what happens if he doesn't get the sub?
Plus 180 DraftKings Sportsbook.
Plus 180?
Yep. Decision prop. Saint-Denis plus 300 range. Hooker plus 800.
Now it's gonna be you're gonna be holding your shit in the first round. You're gonna be holding on for dear life. So it's definitely one of those fights. You might want to go get a drink for the first round or something like that and just pretend like you're not, like, turn the volume up, but don't watch and just pray you don't hear everyone going crazy like 30 seconds in. Because Dan Hooker does take he takes some violence to the face. He takes some shots.
I'm surprised he turned around so quickly after the Armin fight in general. I mean, it seems like it was just weeks ago. That's one of the big X factors for me as well. But again, I look at him more as an enhancement talent, especially in the spot. But do not burn me again, BSD, because if he does, I don't know how to handle this guy moving forward. We move on.
Oh, you like
I
the
because of
card.
the ownership. I've talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it from the
yeah, yeah.
get-go. A 10% guy, which is a grappling-based fighter, has to be an overweight. If I'm getting 25%, I'm going to be very, very happy
All right.
with him.
This is how it's done. Awesome-tastic. Not a fan of a cheap hooker. Right there. See, Mike, that's what you should have said. You're not a fan of a cheap
Sorry.
hooker. God,
20% owned hooker, though?
that was
I don't
good.
know about that. We will move on to a higher owned fight in general. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes in the main event here. We have the rematch at Volkanovski minus 148. Comeback on Lopes is a plus 124 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Inside the distance lines, one of my credos. I love a guy that can go in there and get that equity. Plus 180 for Lopes compared to Volkanovski plus 320. I think that's the wildest breakdown when it comes to the betting lines on this particular fight. But when you look at who's more likely to win a decision, it's very clearly Volkanovski. First fight was one knockdown for Lopes. I feel like he just didn't step on the gas there. He was risk adverse and, I don't know, maybe gassing out because he has in the past. But what do we gather from this, right? Like, what has changed? Diego Lopes last time out gets Gene Silva with his own move. Remember, what did I say last week? He hit him with his own move. Lopes getting more of a wrestling base for his training camp on this fight. Don't think he go aggressively wrestles, but like, what's changed, JSU? Why is this line the way it is? Shouldn't it be like, based on the betting, shouldn't it be like minus 250 for Volkanovski after the first fight?
Yeah, I mean, nothing has really changed. I think it's just got to be Diego who decides he's not going to worry about gassing out, and he's going to try and go all in those first 2.5 rounds and try and get the finish. Because if this fight goes to decision, he's not winning a decision. I will be stunned if he beats Volk in a 5-round decision fight. That's not how he wins. And I think if you like Diego Lopes, or Lopes, however I still don't even know how you say his name.
Well, I see. Come on, Mike. Come on, man. It is Lopez. My bad. So it's phonetically very difficult, Lopez.
Yeah. No, I can tell you because I've called him different name for like every single one of his fights, I feel like. But I think if you like him, you should just like the under. Like the under 4.5, I think is a good bet if you like Diego Lopez here in this fight, because I do think he needs the finish. I expect him to come out more aggressively. He gets a second shot at this. And trust me, the UFC knew what they were doing. They didn't want to put some boring ass fighter next to Volk. They wanted someone like Lopez who's going to be exciting, who's going to come out there and he's going to bring the fight to Volkanovski. And that's what he's going to do. Diego Lopez is an exciting fighter. He is going to look for the finish. Now, in the Volkanovski fight the first time, it did look like at times he was conservative, a little gun shy, I think conserving some energy. And I don't think he's going to do that this time. I don't think he can do it, because if he gets into that again, he's just going to get picked apart by Volk. What you got to do is you just got to pressure Volk, and you just got to get him uncomfortable to where you can find that shot and get him caught against the cage and kind of put him down and hurt him that way. You can't just drop him and let him get back, let him recover, let him grab your leg and get back, recover. You got to pounce. Once you get him down, you got to pounce. And I expect him to be more aggressive. So I'm going to take the dog here just with the dog money in Lopez. I like the under, though, in this fight. I think the way Diego Lopez is going to try and fight in this one, where he's going to be more aggressive, it's going to leave openings for Volkanovski to maybe finish him as well. So that's why I think the under is in play a lot more, regardless of the fight. It's just my feeling. I have no idea, obviously. It's just my guess that, he's going to come out and be way more aggressive here and be told to do that.
Yeah. And look at when he got that knockdown in that first fight, he still got outstruck. Like, I remember he gets the knockdown and the stats, I started seeing those numbers come back for Volkanovski. It's definitely very, very difficult to break down, right? This is a super tough fight to break down. And when you get into the the situation of how you build your lineups. Clearly, all the ownership's here. How does this fight bust? That's my problem. I don't know how it busts. Is it wrestling?
Well,
I don't
if it's
know.
wrestling, then someone's scoring.
Yeah.
If it's wrestling.
It's rare that I like to go super overweight on a main event, but I feel like you got to lock the main event.
The pricing is just also making it to where I feel like I have to, and I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to lock the main event. I'll probably be a tiny bit over 50% on Lopez and just under 50% on Volk. So probably like a 55-45 split in that instance. So, which I think is like close to the field on these guys. I mean,
who's higher owned? Do you think that the Volkanovski?
I think it's going to be Lopez with the price difference. I think it's going to be slight lean towards him. You know, I think he comes in like, I think he comes in like 50%, and I think Volkanovski comes in like 45. What do you think?
Yeah, I have it 44-42 for Lopez being the higher owned guy. And it's a salary situation for me. And I agree with it. And let's be honest, they're going to be killing off. Any faders of this fight are paying rake. I think I can firmly say that. I think that's a nice thing. If you're fading it, it's a beautiful situation to pay for rake. Prop market wise on pick 6, it's tight. Like if you think there's a finish for Lopes, wouldn't you want to go under significant strikes or under? You can never touch Volkanovski fantasy points because the guy's constantly scoring.
Yeah, like when you're not, he's just always going to be scoring. So that's the issue with him. Damn, I don't know. These lines are set pretty good. I mean, what do you like anything here? I don't love anything.
No, I think we penciled something. I don't love anything, and I don't necessarily think you always have to touch the main event. I think people try to force picks on the name value guys when we should go down the card and try to pick something on that. I think we had something else we had talked about that we hadn't added.
Well, what about Alakana over 93.5 fantasy points?
I'm in. Don't have to. I mean, a decision with just takedowns gets you there.
Don't have to twist your arm?
No, not at all. I knew we had.
It's either that or it's the under on significant strikes, but I kind of like the over on the old fantasy points here, if that works with you.
Yep, Sal killed actually since we put him in there, went down. I think it was just a point. I think it was 110.5 for fantasy points. But yeah, so I think you and I are both iffy on the main event with it being so important to the context of the slate. I think do you lean Lopez?
I am gonna bet Lopez, yeah, just with the plus money.
I meant to look at the spread on the fight because I've been trying to do better about my betting and making sure I have different paths. I'm going to guess it's juiced pretty ugly there. Minus 175 plus 5.5. So that means, he wins
Vote
around.
By decision, scoring less than 105 means the fight could end up not optimal. Yeah. If he decisions,
that's narrow.
I think it's narrow too, but his fantasy line set at 100, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
the final thing I think we talked about was Fiziev takedowns. By the way, it's 1.5, and that was the thing you thought about. It's plus money to the over 1.5.
The one thing about the Volk with the fantasy points is Diego Lopez. His grappling is super dangerous. So I wonder how much Volk has really good ground and pound, but even in that last fight, I think he only had one takedown. Guys aren't as aggressive going to the ground with Diego Lopez, especially early in the fight, which could hurt his fantasy points if he's not going for takedowns early, wait until later. But just something to add to that point of maybe if he scores just under 105, maybe it's not optimal. It still could be optimal. Like 100 could be optimal for Volk.
I mean, let's talk about the pick six real quick, and then I'll talk about how I'm going to handle the slate from a fantasy, right? Let's just run down that for the viewers. There is like a 30% boost before you click it, by the way.
Yeah, I got the boost already. So DraftKings 30% boost. We got a $50 max over here. So we'll throw 50. The pick six is going to be Nakamura over on significant strikes at 48.5. Dumar Fan 35.5 significant strikes less than. Ye Zah less than 82.5 fantasy points. Jonathan Micallef on or over 37.5 significant strikes. Quinlan Salkill under on 109.5 fantasy points, and Billy Alakana over on 93.5 fantasy points. That is the pick six. 50 to win $1,150. Let's roll it over on DraftKings pick six. It is in.
Got to use those boosts. If you got a boost, you got to use it. And that pivots me right to a 30% method bonus. First fight of the night for me, Dumar Fan or Rangbu. Sorry. I like Dumar, and that's why he's on the top of the mind. You know that. I like my 10% owned favorite. But Rangbu, KO sub, plus 120. Don't fall for the KO, which is plus 130. Get yourself 10 cents to cover the submission. God forbid he does that and you lose for 10 cents. My 30% boost gets me to a plus 156 for Rangbu. I'm locking it in right now. 2 weeks in a row, two finishes. Get it in the first round too, man. I mean, I don't think you or I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a second or third round for Rangbu, but that's a play I'm going to be hitting and starting the week off right.
Yeah, I like it. Like the late finish there for Rangbu. That's what you're using your boost on?
I want to start the night. That's 2 cards in a row, pay-per-view, back-to-back, using a 30% boost, starting the card off right until I lose money on a Rose Namajunas, like I think I had correct, okay? Let me just go back to the last week, what happened. So I talked about win equity. This particular card, when I'm breaking down the fantasy side of things, it's a ceiling card. I'm looking for plays that are going to give me a large ceiling at any price tag, right? So Rose, I was looking for win equity. It ended up being that Alex Perez was the guy to really do it last card out, right? Well, on this particular card, I'm looking for the favorites to have ceilings, the 135. You talked about it. Benoit Saint-Denis, Tixer, and Rousston. I think it's important to get these types of fighters right because when they hit those 135, they're necessary. It doesn't matter about price tag. Those points are extremely important. So I'm going to mix bag these guys and mix them all in. I don't mind putting money on the table, getting exposure to all of them. If I'm going to rank the 9K range, unfortunately, it's going to have to be Benoit Saint-Denis, followed by Tixer, followed by Rangbu, followed by Rousston. Salkill for me is the odd man out. I can't get behind a 40% owned 9,700 guy who at 110 points might not be optimal. So I think that's how I'm going to rank it. And Billy Alakana is actually a better play for me than it is for you. I think he's the type of guy that can absolutely at 30% smash. And when I'm looking at dogs,
playing a shitload of Billy Alakana.
It's way too much. I'm playing too much Billy.
I'm playing a shitload of them. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, but I don't like it. You know, I mean, where am I going for dogs? That's, I think, where it comes in because I really don't like a ton of dogs. I'll be quite frank. I understand people wanting to go to Torrez Finney. It's a direct point. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and probably go underweight to him. And I'm not necessarily taking Malkoun for leverage, right? I'm probably just going to be building those Diego Lopes. He's the guy to me that gets me a little bit of money to play with. The Nakamura, man, you and I freaking love Nakamura. It sounds like we really like the volume. 8,100 on any slate that you're looking at should be an initial look. And that's because it's basically flip a coin and one of these guys has that win equity built in, right? But now we have the ceiling with the significant strikes. What if Nakamura gets a third round finish, dude? He could get 110 points. I like that a lot. And the odd man out that no one else likes that I like is Dumar Fan. It's a direct path to victory, 10% owned guy. I'll stick my flag in and say at 8,700, if he competes with one of those guys, if he competes with the Tixer, Benoit Saint-Denis, or the Rousston, we're sniffing the promised land for $200,000 up top, JSU. And again, I was on it last week. We almost sniffed the promised land, but it was Rose that didn't do anything. It was actually ended up being, I mean, listen, I didn't like who was the Denzel Freeman. I didn't like the, who went against the other guy that was high owned as an underdog. I didn't like the underdogs. This week, it's tight pricing when it comes to exact outcomes, right? You want those 105 point to 110 point. There's going to be like a, 680, 700 score on this slate, probably. It's going to be high.
Yeah, and the Dumar Fan fight to end via sub on DraftKings is plus 225. So
going to use your boost on that?
I might, because I get both sides via the sub. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I know I already bet that. That was one of my bets I already bet. But yeah, over on DK Sportsbook, get the best number at 225. A couple questions here in the chat. Let's see. Best 9K rankings.
I think I just hit mine.
Let's see.
You're going to have Rousston. You talk that guy up so high. If you don't put Rousston higher than some of these other.
Teixeira, Rousston, BSD are my, and then Salkill would be how I rank the 9Ks. Those four are my top four. And then what was the other question here? Oh, 7K. Fighters under 7K.
There's three fighters. It's Hooker, Brundage, and Malarkey. There's a
who's
play.
Who's the highest owned? They're asking.
Oh, it's Hooker. Hooker is 20% for me. Brundage 15. Malarkey 5%. When you're looking at purely the numbers based, you should be playing Brundage.
I think Tui's going to come in higher owned, but that's where we disagree.
Correct. And if you're playing under 7K, you should be playing Brundage, not Hooker, just based on the numbers. Just because you're getting the equity of 15%, and it's terrifying, right? We don't like Brundage.
Yeah. For like dogs that I like, my favorite dogs are definitely, I mean, Diego Lopes is Lopez is an obvious one, but I like Kim. I like Kim a lot. In one of those road UFC fights, I like Nakamura a ton. And
is Nakamura a favorite?
No, he's a slight dog to
that's wild.
Yeah, he's plus 114. So Kim, Nakamura, and who would my third be? Oh, probably Dan Hooker would be my third. So yeah, those are the three dogs that I like. Here took a couple shots on Cody Brundage. Yeah, I mean it's not crazy. I mean, Cody Brundage has a weird way of somehow winning fights he shouldn't win. So that wouldn't shock me at all. But that's
one way to win 200K, dude. Cody Brundage.
That's definitely one way to win.
We get another week off now, right? I
think next week we get a week off here. I think I'm going to use my boost on Alakana. You go Alakana inside the distance. I think that's what I'm going to use my boost on.
Yeah, I used it on that one to start the night again.
I'm not on Lou. I'm not sure about Mike, but I'm not on Lou.
No, personally, I'm not. But I think from a leverage standpoint, it's a very, very intelligent play, right? Like, because it's first fight of the night. Nobody's going to be wanting to play it. Solo Rangbu is 20%. You're not gaining a ton of leverage because I think Lou might come in a little bit higher owned, right? Because of how you can build. He's stuck in between the two heavy bangers that don't have any volume. At least Lou might score. Didn't you talk about Lou getting some takedowns too? Perhaps stalling out.
Trying to. I think he's going to try. I don't know if it's going to be
makes him a stronger play.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Don't forget, guys, smash the like button on the video if you enjoyed the show. We got about 227 on YouTube watching, about 47 likes. See if we can get that like button up a little bit. Appreciate everyone watching here. Obviously, I think we'll have a week off here. Then we'll be back same time, same place here. If you want more content, check us out, runpuresports.com for core plays, full cheat sheet with all our exposures, me, Big T, Mike, JBC, all the guys, their core plays, everything like that. We got it all up on the site. Favorite bets, all in the Discord. Big T drops some. I'll drop some in there. JBC drops all his bets in the Discord. So when you become a member, pretty much any membership on the board gets you in the Discord. So don't forget to link your account from the website and get into the Discord. If you have any issues, we have a customer support chat and a waiting room in there where you can ask us questions and we'll help you get set up here. Mike, final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Captain mode. It's a captain mode slate. You know, I love my captain mode. It's because these road to UFC fights are super volatile. They're the fights that you need to be targeting in the big contest to really win this whole thing. And yes, get in that Discord, man. I mean, we were sweating a Rose bet. I mean, a big juicy number on Rose. And there's opportunities when you can buy back. So don't be scared. If you get a big number on an underdog, when things are, you know, greedy and you want to just keep pulling that money, don't worry. Just hedge out a teeny bit. Don't be scared to hedge out, JSU. I know you're not that type of guy, but
hashtag no hedge. All in. Don't hedge. Close your eyes. Jam it in and hope you win all the money here. Good luck to everyone in your DraftKings DFS and betting over on DK Sportsbook for UFC 325. And we'll be back for the next card in a couple weeks. For Mike, I'm John. We'll catch you guys later. We're out. Peace.